There needs to be a cup that pours in and another cup where you've been giving out so much. But you're not getting poured back into. And the reason why you're frustrated is because you're looking for somebody to fill you. It's not a natural feeling. It's a spiritual feeling. Watch this. He brought cake. And then he saw a jar of water above his head. Water represents the Spirit of God. He says, make sure you get filled with my Spirit. Make sure your mind is filled. Says, get up. And please listen carefully. This is divine instructions right here. Eat and drink. Watch this. He ate the first one. But he was so tired, he went back to sleep. The angel came again and says, arise again. Eat and drink the second time. I said, God, why would you say that twice? He said, because Elijah was trying to eat the first meal so he could be sustained just where he was. He's not eating for where he's going. He's eating for where he's been.
All right.
Here's the problem. For many of you, God has increased your capacity. And even though you're enlarged on the inside, you're still eating Happy Meals. Your prayer life has not increased. Your word intake has not increased. The time you spent, watch this. He says, arise and eat, for your journey is great. Tell somebody where you're going is big. Tell them it's bigger than your neighborhood. It's bigger than what you perceive. But you can't eat a little bit and think you're going to be sustaining the journey. He said, for the journey is great. And the Bible says, and the food that he ate, that food sustained him 40 days. Let me give you this while I'm in my clothes. A few months ago, it was wintertime. And my wife had to go see a doctor in Florence. We got up early that morning. And I was going to take Carla to school. We were going to drop Corbin off. And she was going to the appointment in Florence. It was still wintertime, so it was like that night it got down in the teens. Still cold that morning. So, you know, I have a bad habit of running outside in shower shoes, short pants, and t-shirt, and crank the car. Don't judge me. And I ran out there to crank the car. And I tried, and the battery, but the car wouldn't start. I tried for about 10 minutes, and I was cold. The car still wouldn't start, wouldn't turn over. I'm constantly and it just clicking, and I said, well, it might be an alternator, might be the battery. You know, I'm a country boy, I know a little bit. And the car wouldn't start. So I ran back in the house. I told Chastity. She said, well, we can drive my car. I said, okay, that's cool. So I got dressed. Colin Corbin was downstairs. I ran back outside, and I hit the start button, and the car started. What's this now? The car started. I said, okay. But something, that thing bugged me a little bit. Because the first time I came out, it wasn't strong enough to start. I didn't do anything. I just came back outside and pushed the button again. 10, 15 minutes later, and the car started. So we drove to Florence in the car that day. I was afraid to turn the car off. Have you ever been in Florence? I don't mind getting stuck in my yard. That's something else that stuck when you 50 miles per hour.
Scared.
I got roadside service, but they don't always come quick.
They don't.
So, and she went inside the doctor's office. I said, cough for a minute. I turned it off. But in my mind, I'm nervous. So when she got back in the car, I said, babe, I'm about to drive to Columbia from Florence. I'm going to dig down to see what's going on with the car. She said, okay, I'll ride with you. Let me make a phone call. So we drove down 20 from Florence to Columbia. I got to dig down, and the guys didn't know me, so I got out of the car. He said, what's going on? I told him what's happening. He says, I already had 4 cars come in this morning with the same problem. He says, it's your battery. I said, what? He said, if your battery is over 2 years old, he says, these cars are not built to be outside in cold weather for a long period of time. You're going to get it on the way home. It'll drain the battery and kill it. He said, but the battery may charge itself a couple of times, but eventually it's going to have to be replaced.
All right.
Tell somebody, wake up and talk to you. Many of us, the reason why we're burned out and drained is because you've been hanging out in bad weather too long. And because you've been in bad weather too long, you've gotten used to jump-starting yourself. It wasn't until I took it to the dealer, the one that designed it, and they know about the car, that he says, you might get a few more where you can just start it yourself and charge yourself. But eventually, it's going to have to be replaced because you've been in bad weather. I know some of y'all are in your 20s, but when I was in my 40s, there was an old song that says, I've been in the storm.
All right.